Hi friends, I would like to take some time to share with you about healthy spirituality. You'd assume that if one is spiritual that you would just normally be healthy. The word says, "This is my desire that you will prosper even as your soul prospers." And when I share thoughts about unhealthy spirituality, it means that there are things in our lives that does not just automatically align with what God has done in our spirit man. God designed us as a spirit, a soul, and a body. And as a tripart being, I have an incredible challenge to complement the things that God has done in my life through my own conduct, through my own behavior, through my own mindsets. Paul writes and he says, "Be changed in the renewing of your mind." They use the word metamorpho or metamorphosis. The truth is that when we are saved, when we are born again, the Spirit of God does a work in our hearts. The proverbial heart of stone is taken out and God gives us a heart of flesh. Through our regeneration, we are connected with God through the Spirit. Yet it's very possible to live an unhealthy spiritual life. I have a few points that I'd like to just highlight, and all under this topic of getting to this place of healthy spirituality. One of the challenges that believers face is that we often ignore our emotions, and it causes great unhealthy spirituality. God made us as this tripart being, and our emotions is one of the faculties of our soul dimension. God himself displays emotion. The trouble is when we as believers ignore our emotions. Often we have anger. Often because of unresolved conflict of the past. We have sadness. We experience sadness. And we often, even despite our faith, experience fear. It causes unhealthy spirituality when we as believers ignore our emotions. Faith, your walk with God, is not just a mind over matter situation. Number two, we can easily ignore the effect of the past. Now, I've often said it, that I'm not a product of the past. Many things happen to many people, many difficult things happen to very, very good people. And when we ignore the impact of the experiences of the past, it very often creeps up on us and manifests as something else, simply because we ignore the impact of past experiences. The result is unhealthy spirituality. One of the other things that we do, the third thing, is that we often cover our brokenness, our weaknesses, our failures, as if God doesn't know what's going on in my life. Yet I've found that if I'm transparent, if I'm open, if I'm real before God and people, for starters, people relate to me differently. No one can relate to someone who pretends to be perfect. My brokenness, my weaknesses, my failures, about which I am very verbal, very often sets the platform for quality relationships. The reason being, friends relate differently to me when they have seen my brokenness, heard about my weaknesses, and can relate to the failures that I've experienced. The fifth element of our unhealthy spirituality causes is that we judge the spirituality of others. I want to encourage you, don't estimate anyone's spirituality based on how God uses them. Truth is, God used Balaam's donkey. God uses anyone. The quality of our relationship with God is a very personal matter, but very often it causes unhealthy spirituality when we put someone on a pedestal. Think that they have a direct line to God. They've got that red telephone on their desk. And when we judge the spirituality of others, it often impacts us negatively and causes unhealthy spirituality. In 1 Samuel chapter 15, Saul was unaware, if you read through that chapter, he was unaware of his own faults and failures. Saul is a perfect example of unhealthy spirituality, and we all know what the end of Saul was like. We ignore emotions. We deny the impact of the past. We cover our brokenness, failures, and weaknesses, and we judge others. Those are the four main things that causes unhealthy spirituality. And I want to invite you to journey with us through a few sessions as we deal with becoming spiritually healthy believers. God has so much more in store for you and I. And I want to play my part. I want to complement the great work that God has done in my life through the blood of Christ and through His Spirit. And I want to invite you to journey with me as we chat about healthy spirituality. I'll see you in session 2 for some of the steps that we can take as believers to counteract unhealthy spiritual practices that causes unhealthy spirituality. God bless you.